Good stuff, good stuff. I think we got some people coming in. Wow, 107 already. All right. 10. Hey everyone, how are you doing? Good evening. Well, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and good morning, depending on what part of the world you are in. If this is the first time that you're using Zoom, then there is a chat box available for everyone to chat in. All of your microphones will be muted. We have an administrator on the call called Leanne, who's going to be controlling that. Okay, yep. All right, so, all right. Yes. Okay, cool. All right. I see Marina in the box. I see Dana. Hello, Dana. I see Kaz. I see Taku. I see Titi. Wow. Michelle Chung. How you doing? You literally have a lot of people coming on right now. We're just going to give it a couple more minutes before we start. But thank you for our speakers for coming. Thank you for everyone joining on, no matter where you are in the world. My name is Dean Carby and I'm from T.E.A.M Limited. So that stands for Training Experiences and Masterclasses. And what we are really about is bringing people together, educating our communities, and also uplifting and inspiring our events and creative community. So thank you for joining. I really know that this is going to be a good evening or good morning. Again, depends on where you are. So actually, can we find out where people are from? Can you just let us know quickly in the chat, see who's representing where? Kevin promised that he was going to be coming with his Zimbabwean crew with force. We got NYC, we have Nigeria, we have London, we have Cambridge, UK, Lagos, Nigeria, Washington, DC, London. Jennifer Patrice, how you doing? We have Canada. We have lots from I'm seeing lots of New York. Someone said they're from New York and Zimbabwe. Okay. Have Angie from Kenya. We got Nigeria in the building, Ghana, Zimbabwe, Lagos, wow, London, Atlanta, ATL crew in the building, Namibia, of course. How you doing? How you doing? South Africa inside Ghana. All right. Wow, guys, it's where I am in London. It is 10:05. And it is like quite late at night. I know some of you are thinking, you know, what's this? How can a conference be so late? But this is literally the only chance or the only time we could find that we could get all of our speakers who are in different parts of the world to come on this call at the exact same time. And, you know, we're in the events industry anyway, so most of the time we are working late on a Friday night or on a weekend or unsociable hours. So it's nothing for us really. But I want to welcome you all. I think we're going to get started now because I know this time is going to go really quickly. But oh yeah, I see Kenya. Someone said they're here for Kevin, but they love Anna Wang too. Lagos, Nigeria. Someone said, I'm so excited to be here. So literally, guys, keep putting the comments into the chat. Thank you very much for joining us. All of your microphones are going to be muted, but a bit later on in the call, we may bring one or two people on the camera and turn on your microphone so you can ask a question. So why are we here and how did this come about? So once again, my name is Dean. I'm an events professional. I'm from London. I've been many things, many hats in the events industry. I've been a DJ, I've been an MC, I've been an event planner. Now I do event design and production along with my fiance. And I really love events. From the day I started, I always used to gain inspiration from those who I felt were doing events in a really amazing way. And I used it as a kind of a source of inspiration to drive and push me forward, yeah? And all of the speakers I've invited here this evening, oh, sorry, I shouldn't keep saying this evening. All of the speakers I've invited onto this call are people that I've been inspired by over the years. Yeah, they've all done amazing things in their own right. And they're literally all people that I've wanted to bring into the UK to perform at our masterclass or educate at our masterclasses that we do in London. So I've been in touch with all of them via Instagram, email, etc. And then it just came to me a few weeks ago and I thought, wow, this is literally the first time in modern history where literally the whole world is going through the same situation at the same time. So literally, whether it's New York, Harare, Sydney, Lagos, we are all on lockdown and we're all pretty much bound to our houses. And this has never, ever happened before. I don't want to use that word again because I'm sure all of you lot have been hearing it, but we are truly in unprecedented times. Yeah. So I thought, instead of just waiting for us to get back out there and do what we love doing the events we love doing, why don't I get some of the people who inspire me to come onto a call and say what's going on for them, how this is affecting them, and basically how they have adjusted to this new time that we are all living in. And we've got loads of questions to ask our speakers. I'm going to, without further ado, going to introduce, just like we would do if this was live, I'm going to introduce Carby Romero, all the way from NYC. Woo!
Hi, everybody.
Next, I'm going to introduce Funke Bucknor-Obruthe from Lagos, Nigeria. Yeah. Next, I'm going to introduce Zhou, all the way from Harare in Zimbabwe. Yeah! Please welcome him to the call this evening. And last but not least, can we please give a warm welcome to Miss Anna Wang from Sydney in Australia. Please, 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 please give her a round of applause. I know the speakers, you can't hear them, but they are clapping. Check in the chat there. They are actually clapping for you. So in the same order that I just introduced you, could you please just all say one or two things about yourself, just to reintroduce, no, most people know who you are, but just to say exactly who you are, what you do, and how this world situation is affecting you right now. So please, first of all, Carby.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm so happy to be here on this platform. I'm thinking, you know, right now, isn't Zoom wonderful? We're able to talk to each other, see each other. We're all from different places, but we're here pretty much for the same thing. And I think that that's, you know, one of the things that has brought us, you know, that COVID has actually brought us is, you know, the sense of empathy and compassion that this has brought on to us. You know, so I'm Carby Romero, and yes, I am from New York, New Jersey. And, you know, I'm an event planner that has a small business that does big things. That's it. You know, I'm looking forward to chatting with everybody today.
Hey, everyone. Hi, so my name is Funke Bucknor-Obruthe, all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. And I'm an event planner, event producer. Been in business for at least maybe 16 years and always excited to plan amazing events. I also host a conference called the Event Experience Africa, where we bring all different event entrepreneurs from all over the world, of course, Africa-based, just to learn, you know, and gain knowledge and, you know, just some form of networking. So basically, that's what I do. It's great to see everyone.
Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are well. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Zhou, and Zhou is not Chinese, guys. Zhou is Shona, and it means elephant. And I am a wedding planner, mainly a wedding planner, but I also do a couple of other events in Harare, Zimbabwe. However, we travel across the globe to do, you know, weddings for some of our couples that are based beyond. And I'm so excited to be here with you guys, you know, to share my little knowledge that I have from our very little Zimbabwe that has become very big in our little scope. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm so excited.
Okay, I guess it's my turn. So it's kind of weird seeing everyone like pop everywhere. Okay, so Anna, Wang from Sydney. We do probably quite a lot of events around Melbourne and Queensland as well. And I've been in business for probably the last 13 years. I've got 2 crazy little daughters, that's 5 and 7. That's kind of very sassy and wants money to come and help mama, but otherwise we have to like leave them at home, otherwise they won't come without being paid. Like me and my husband Bailey kind of, you know, run this together. He does all our marketing and all our, you know, backbone and everything that you see for our videos and all our online YouTubes. Everything is done by my husband Bailey and his team. But other than that, we're, you know, as humble as we can be. We try to do our best for everyone. Doesn't matter what budgets and stuff like that. But it's, look, everyone's having a hard time now, but we get through it.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you so much, Funke. Thank you so much, Kathy. Okay, so as I said earlier, you guys are the ones that keep me inspired, you know, regardless of COVID, just on a regular day, even when I'm going about my daily business, you guys are the ones whose pages I'm checking, whose stories I'm watching, whose websites and blogs I'm reading, and you really push me to do better. And, you know, I think, you know, I'm doing okay, but there's always another level out there, you know. You guys have done some amazing work. Like everyone on the call right now, please check out their social media so you can see the kind of work they do if you haven't seen already. But what I want to know is, during this time, obviously, in London, we've been on lockdown for about a month now. I know everyone's got slightly different timings in terms of how long they've been locked down and how much longer they'll be locked down for. But I just want to know, who is keeping, or what is keeping you guys inspired right now? Like, where are you guys going to for inspiration, direction, and leadership in this very uncertain time? Yeah, so let's start with Kathy on that one, please.
Why do you always pick me first? All right. Well, you know what? I think that this is a time when we actually need to go inward, right? To find inspiration, to see exactly what our place is as we try to navigate through what's going on the outside, right? And for me, I think, you know, change is inevitable in life, period. So the fact that we're going through this as a whole actually has so much more meaning because we're going through it as a whole. And, you know, if we think about it, we continually are changing. And it's because we decide to change. It's because we need to move forward. It's because of, you know, whatever external, you know, things push us towards change. But COVID is a little bit different because of the, you know, the sadness on one side of it, which obviously, you know, we're very sorry about all the lives that have been taken from this. But I think that as a whole and as a world, for those of us who are here, we need to understand, you know, what our place is going to be. And I don't necessarily mean even in business. I mean, just in general, in life altogether, you know. And I find that, you know, I'm finding inspiration in different places. First inward, right? And then, you know, I'm looking at people that are in the industry, people that are, you know, some of my celebrity clients who have given so much to trying to help the cause. I'm looking at all of the medical staff that is now actually out there putting their lives on the line, you know, selflessly. There's just so much and so many places to take inspiration from, because I know for sure I wasn't built probably that way, where I can be in a hospital, you know what I'm saying? I'm a creative. And so for me, it's really thinking about, okay, how can I now, where I am right now, as an individual who is a creative, how can I help some way, somehow? And I know that that's such a hard question, because we all want to do, but sometimes we feel like our hands are tied, you know? But the reality is that there's inspiration pretty much everywhere, Dean.
Thank you very much, Kathy. We're just going to go, just for this question, not for all questions, but we're going to go in that same order. So that's why you were first, Kathy. But next, please, Funke, could you just tell us where you're getting your inspiration from at this time?
So for me, I think Kathy, you know, also summed up some parts of how I'm getting inspired at this time. You know, I think the first thing, and exactly, you know, what she said is that this has forced us to almost pause. So it's forced me to pause. So for me, I get an inspiration just from sitting down and just trying to make sense of everything that is going on, and just thinking that there must be a reason for this, and how can I come out of this with myself, with my team, with the industry, with everybody around us. First of all, come out of this alive, first of all, and then also, how can I come out of this better? So come out of this better with myself, and also even how do I come out of this helping the next person? So I'm inspired by all that I see that the industry is also doing, how everyone is also giving back, how people are just helping one another. So it's not just about yourself. It's not about myself. It's about everyone together. So I'm getting inspiration from there. I'm also getting inspiration from my team. So sometimes when I'm feeling like, oh, this is a bit too much, I'm tired, I'm just a bit overwhelmed. My team are there as well, that are also there to rally round and just say, you know what, we're going to come out of this. We need to do better. We're going to think of what to do, how we're going to do it. So I get inspiration from there. And I'm also getting even just inspiration from even just my children, my house. I'm you know, it's almost like this is the longest I've been at home for months.
I know.
It's the longest, like, I'm always like on the road, and I'm just like at home, and I'm just laughing with my children. So I'm kind of like, oh my goodness, well, I think this is good in a way. So I'm getting inspiration from there, and just basically everyone in the industry being supportive, being helpful, people just generally just being amazing. I think that's one of the things that I've seen during this period, that people are actually very, very kind. You know, people always think people are not kind, people are selfish. Everybody has just been really, really kind. So that's where I'm getting inspiration from at the moment.
Okay, lovely. And to you next, Kevin, please.
Awesome. I mean, I have had it a bit different because when, you know, COVID-19 hit, a lot of our clients were hit by, you know, having to postpone or to move their weddings further down for all the weddings that were supposed to happen in March, April, and now we're getting into May. And, you know, a lot more of our clients also getting more anxious for later on in the year. And it's been a hard time for inspiration, I won't lie. Because, you know, there's, you know, in a situation like this, you can also be flooded by, you know, the news and everything that's sort of just coming out of, you know, COVID, and, you know, the vaccine is going to be out in a year, and, you know, all that stuff. So I've had to consciously sort of shut out what I don't need and only take what's necessary. And in that, I found myself, you know, having sort of like a retrospect of thinking of the past events that we've done. And I've actually found some inspiration from that, you know, from the days when we started, like when we didn't have a lot of clients coming to us and inboxing us and all the noise and social media, and just looking back at the processes that we went through and drawing inspiration from that. I remember just looking at a wedding that we did in 2015 and thinking, damn, if I were to do if I had to bring in element A, B, C into the current weddings we're doing now, like the production will just be so amazing. So I would be lying, Dean, to say I've been looking at Anna Wang's amazing work or what Kathy's been doing or Funke, etc. I really have just been bumping into things, you know, it's a roller coaster emotionally. There are times when you're really happy, and then there are times when you're just like, what are we going to do? And then just in those little moments, there's just a bit of inspiration that comes from different places. I love how everyone is going live on Instagram as well. That is a lot of knowledge that's coming for free, stuff that would normally pay for to masterclass and stuff. Everyone is just sitting there and just pouring out, and I'm just really aware and opening up my mind and heart to what everyone is saying, and taking whatever I need to take and putting it into our business and things like that. So it really is a learning time right now. Not so much inspiration, because I am a very outgoing person, and I normally draw inspiration from travel and being wherever I am, and being inspired by that. So this time is about just retrospecting, and it's not all bad. I'm saying, I'm just really amazed that some of the things that we've done are inspiring me, to look forward to the next productions that we're coming up with. So
I love that. So you're kind of looking to the past to present your future in a way. I love that.
Amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So Anna, please, you next.
So inspiration. I'm actually not a very big social media guru that I'm on my phone all the time. My husband is. So I've actually probably during this time discovered social media, really, because now I have the time. I'm actually just on my phone and I'm looking at YouTubes, and I'm actually listening to a lot of Australia's Got Talent, America's Got Talent, and I'm actually listening to a lot of music at the moment, and I'm kind of going through and going The Voice, and it's really interesting because I'm not looking at wedding stuff at all, because we see it every day for the last 13 years, and I thought, it's the only time I get to switch off. So I've actually switched my mind off weddings and inspiring my own personal family at the moment. And the only thing that's kind of really I'm looking at in inspiration is my family, is my children, because I hardly see them when I am working. I did add up hours that I see them when I am working, and I only see them probably about 20 hours a week, because I only see them in the morning. I drop them off to school an hour, and then I don't pick them up from school only Mondays and Fridays, and I get to see them for about 4 or 5 hours there before they go to sleep. And then weekends I'm working. By the time I come home, I actually don't even get to really see them because they're asleep, or I get to do 2 hours there with them. So I'm actually looking at my kids and being inspired because of their smiles and their happiness, and the fact that they get to spend time with mama and papa. Their energy inspires us, because COVID-19 to them is like nothing, because they don't understand it. They just think it's a virus and it doesn't affect them. They're not unhappy. They're actually really happy and they've got energy. And I look at my kids and I go, okay, we shouldn't be bummed. We shouldn't be unhappy. We should be really happy, because we've got our children in our lives, where a lot of people out there are actually suffering and whining about toilet paper and whining about they can't get groceries and all of that. So when we actually see our children, they are our biggest inspiration, because they are the future, and that's what we're going to live for out of this. So they inspire me. And the next thing that really inspires me right now is cooking. I haven't cooked in my life, to be honest. And I've never cooked as much as I have over the last 3.5 weeks since we've kind of been in this semi-lockdown. And I've cooked like there's no tomorrow. And I think this is a really good time for us to breathe and give ourselves time. Because I probably would say all 4 of us or all 5 of us has just lived the last many, many years for our clients and our brides and our events. And that's all we live for, is to produce beautiful things for other people. And when's the last time you did something for yourself? And this is the only situation that I've actually looked at and said, you know what? I'm going to do things for myself. I'm going to lay it on the couch. I'm going to do nothing. Seriously, it's our time.
Indeed, it is our time. And I want to actually thank you guys once again for your time, because literally, if it wasn't for this pandemic situation and lockdown situation, we would never be able to get all four of you onto one call at the same time, especially across the time zones that you're in, the different countries. So really and truly, we are looking at the positives coming from this, because there are things that are happening now, just like Anna said, with her cooking, with spending time with her kids, etc., that we probably wouldn't have had time to do in the April, May, in the spring months in the UK anyway. I don't think it's spring in Australia now. I think it's a different...
Autumn.
It's autumn. Yes, it's autumn in Australia. But we wouldn't have... during March, April, May, we wouldn't have had this time. I guess one question I wanted to really ask you is, all of you, and I think for the next question, I'll go in the same order once again, and then I'll switch it up after. So first, so to Kathy, I'm going to ask all of you this question. Obviously, this is unprecedented time. This is a time that we've never experienced before. And even with all of the preparation that you can do with contracts and agreements and having your procedures and stuff in place, this obviously just came like a train in the middle of the night. No one was expecting it. Yeah. So with you guys having some of the most prestigious and kind of highest paying clients there are out there, spending thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars on their parties, on their weddings, on all sorts of celebrations, how have you guys dealt with panicking clients, postponements, cancellations, and all the rearranging that comes with panic and uncertainty? So first, to Kathy, please.
Hey, so, I've dealt with that just like I deal with everything else in my life and just in general in business, is with transparency. I think that in the beginning, in the initial shock, just kind of grabs you and shakes you. And, like everybody else, I'm human. And so there was an element of fear there. And I slapped fear in the face and I said, no, come on. You got to kind of like, this is what your clients are actually paying you for. It's actually for times like this. It's not for just when everything is gravy. So right now I'm supposed to be the one giving all the answers. So let me make sure that I understand, what are the best options for my clients and how are we going to do this? And so the other thing is I have a finance background. So for me, it was just really important the moment that this hit and I understood that it was going to be real. And it was so real for me, Dean, that, one of the first events that canceled for me was an event that I do for Ms. Oprah Winfrey every year. And when I saw that, I said, oh, this is serious, right? So having said that and understanding the impact financially that this would have, not only on my business, because I'm sure that everybody's in the same boat, I just said, okay, well, I'm not going to think about the financial impact on my business right now. And I'm actually just going to put my head straight in the game and make sure that I know how to explain the financial implications for my clients. Because it wasn't just about us, right? It wasn't just about the cash flow that was not going to be in our companies. It's also about the amount of money that all of our clients were going to lose. And so for me, it just became a huge sense of responsibility to take things head on. And the first thing that I did was actually draft emails for my clients and also look at their financial status as it related to things that they had paid, payment schedules that needed to be checked, things that were not going to come back possibly because there were, non-refundable payments and things like that. And what did it mean? Did it mean that we were postponing, canceling, or what? Depending on the type of event, especially for my events that were in March, April, and May and June. I mean, these were things that you really couldn't project, and there was huge loss. that you can't recover because nobody knew that this was coming, right? So for me, it was a matter of aligning things financially for my clients and making sure that I spoke to them with no fear and more transparency as it related to what it meant for them moving forward, you know, and gave them the best advice and most wholehearted advice that I could give, thinking and placing myself in their place. Because think about that. Yes, we've lost a lot of, you know, business and things like that, but these guys are actually, this is their day. This is their wedding, you know, which is now not happening. So you have to have the heart, you have to have the empathy to really go back to those guys and talk to them with transparency, truth, and actual numbers so that they understand what this means financially for them. Sorry if I took too long.
No, that was perfect. Thank you, Kathy. That was beautiful. Okay, Funke.
Okay, so
okay, I just so the question was basically,
yeah.
How are you dealing with your
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I remember the question.
Yeah.
Yes. So basically, you know, for us as Kathy, you know, as you're making Kathy speak, she's just saying everything that, you know, I probably, you know, wanted to say or would say. But basically, for us, it was a case of, look, for us in Nigeria, the reality hadn't hit us. So as much as it had hit America, it had hit Italy, it hadn't hit Nigeria. So even as at February, we were still fine. Yeah. As at February, we were all okay. And we're like, oh, you know what? Oh, right. This is going to be fine. It's okay. And then we had the first case at the end of February. And then all of a sudden, it started growing. And then all of a sudden, the government just said, you know what? No more events of more than 20 to 50 people. We had an event the day after that announcement.
Yes.
And the day after there was supposed to be a big event, we had to shut that event down the day before. So for my client, in fact, for that at that event, my client was almost so distraught. Yeah. But you know, I had been communicating with them before to say, you know what, this is likely going to happen. Let us postpone. We don't have to cancel. Let's postpone. But you know, because you know, of course, everybody's emotional. They still wanted to go ahead, but later they just said, you know what, we're not going to do it. And they were so good about it. You know, very calm. I had to, of course, love on them because it's very emotional. It's a wedding. You don't expect that you have to postpone your wedding for anything. And not just because you're not getting married to the person, but just because there's a pandemic. Yeah. So for them, it was so emotional. So many events, March, April, May, even May, everybody just started saying, and then I had to have conversations. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Yeah. You know, because a lot of them were not, they were sad. All of them said things like, oh, it's about life. I'm happy I'm alive. I'm happy I'm alive. But you could tell that apart from the fact that they were unhappy, there was also the financial implication, as you said, Kathy. Some money you're not going to ever get back. You know, you're not going to get it back. You know, you've paid. So for a lot of our clients, it was just a case of making sure that they were fine, letting them understand what was going on, because some of them also, I think they didn't really understand it. I mean, you know, we plan events, 1,000 guests, 1,500, 500 people. Those were those types of events. So for a lot of them, they just couldn't understand it. You know, so of course, assuring them, we had to send them emails, call them, hold their hands, check in with them, and everybody just said, you know what, we're not going to cancel, we'll postpone. A lot of them postponed indefinitely. Some postponed it even till next year. Some said, you know what, even if we're going to have it, we're going to reduce the number of people drastically. So we're not going to have 600, 800 people that we wanted to have. It's probably going to be 100 people. But we saw that coming because, of course, with social distancing and everything, you can't have large events, at least for a while. So really, that's how we've been able to deal with our clients. It's been a bit tough, right? Because you still have to play the part of the emotional big sister, emotional hand holder, while you're also dealing with what you have to deal with. So you're dealing with your cash flow, you're dealing with your team. You're dealing with your, the new events. You're dealing with every single thing. You're even dealing with, were the contracts tight enough? This force majeure clause in the contract, did they read it? Do they understand what it means? Do they know that they may not be able to get some money back or no money at all? Things like that. So really, it's not been easy. But at the same time, just because as planners as well, or as event professionals, our clients also see us as their best friends. That's what I always say, as their best friend. So when you are someone's best friend, you have to hold their hand. You have to just set your own emotions aside and hold their hand and like, you know what, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be okay. So that's kind of like how we've been able to deal with that. Yes.
Thank you so much, Funke. And next, Kevin, please.
Okay, so of course this has been quite an interesting time. I think for most of our clients, so what I did is, as soon as I knew that we couldn't have any gatherings, etc., I just had to go back to the service providers that had been paid, because then financially that's part of the effect of what was going to be affected in any planning process. So literally just went back to the service providers to make them just understand where their heads were around, payments that had already been made. Does it mean anything for our clients? I mean, are they going to lose any money? Fortunately, the production phases had not begun. So I know the florist hadn't purchased any flowers or, stationery. So most of the things, especially for our productions, I kind of leave them to closer to the time of the wedding to say, we don't start production until at least 2 weeks before. And so we had a bit of luxury of time to then say, hey guys, just hold on to production for anything, so that when we postpone for the future, our clients are not having to forfeit any losses. They're just literally continuing from wherever they left. So if your bill was 5,000 and you paid 3,000, your balance is 2,000 and nothing is going to change because of everything that's happening. I think that's just pretty much how I ran into it, and also explained it to my clients. Of course, not every service provider was happy or available to move to a new date. So that's something that I had to do on behalf of our clients, in terms of just making sure that everything is a smooth transition for our clients, because obviously it's already an emotional roller coaster that they have to move their date. And so I dealt in-house with our service providers. Most of the service providers that I work with are service providers I've worked with for years. So when some of them were not available for the next date, we sort of kind of spoke about how we can make it work, whether we were going to transfer some of the funds, which was very difficult, by the way, to another service provider and things like that. But it really goes on, the relationships that we've created, which is the great thing about, planning and being in this kind of industry, just kind of riding on the different relationships that we have, just to make sure that our clients are comfortable in the end. So really, financially, I should say the businesses have been dead, because we stopped our clients from making any further payments. So as soon as we knew, we're just like, hold off any payments for now until we know what's going on and when things are going to move on and the like. So I've just taken this, and this is what I've said to our clients is, this is a time, we're just getting more time to plan. So, and with that, there's the unfortunate bit of knowing that some clients will not actually be getting any remuneration during this time. Some people may lose their jobs. Fortunately, nothing of that sort has been brought to light for me, which is really a blessing at this point. So we've just spoken about it as enough, more time to plan, more time to think about whether we really want to do a flower wall or do we want to do a ceiling installation and things like that. So it's just really more time to plan is how I've taken it. I mean, and when the gates are open and we're able to do what we have to do, we'll do it to the best of our abilities. So I think the key word for anything that's happening right now is just more time. I mean, yeah, and just being positive and hoping no one loses their job and things like that. I do know that if this stretches further, there's different things that we'll need to start dealing with, and we'll take each day as it comes and see how best we can assist our clients.
Indeed. Thank you very much. And Anna?
Okay, so in our situation here, we probably got our first announcement from the government to have no gatherings was towards the end of March, is when the no gatherings law came through. But before that, we kind of like, me and Bailey kind of predicted that that was going to happen. So Bailey actually, you know, sent out an email to everyone that was from March, April, May, that we kind of knew that was going to be affected already because the lockdown was till June. So then just to let people know, we've already got a plan so that people aren't questioning. So the plan was literally, you know, if anyone that's affected, we will postpone your event with no loss of deposit whatsoever. Everything's just transferred to a new date. And, you know, by doing that, people kind of had a bit of an ease to say, oh, wow, they've reached out to us already. We work a little bit different in our business to planners, maybe through all the other 3 countries that we're speaking with. We do a lot of our items in-house. So we're our own florist, we're our own invitations company. We do our own, you know, like dance floors and cutlery, chandeliers and things like that. We pretty much own a lot of that, or we have a very strong affiliation and a very strong partnership. So we get to control a lot of the finances going in and out with our clients. So already we could say you're not losing anything that you've booked with us across the board. But the only problem we're facing with our clients is people that haven't chosen us to do the whole planning. They've chosen us just to do the flowers and the styling. They're coming back to us and saying, what do we do? I'm getting a lot of emails from suppliers that we've booked, like photographers, hair and makeup artists, and they're saying that there is a charge for moving dates. And we've had one where they've gone a $1,200 date moving to next year. And that was disgusting. It was very disgusting. But the client had no choice because they already paid $3,000 to them. They go, well, I either lose $3,000 or have to incur $1,200 for next year. But when things like that happen, and there are venues as well where they come to us and say, venues aren't giving us weekend dates, they're giving us Monday to Thursday options for next year. But that's not what I booked. I booked a Saturday evening wedding at a reception, but now I have to do a Thursday next year. And that's happening as well with some venues, and there's some big venues with big names. And then there are other venues where are so humble, where they go, you choose whatever date in Saturday next year. But clients have to understand, for us as businesses, for all of us in this events industry, it is our cash flow, it is our business, it is our way of our bread and butter. Mm-hmm. So they've also got to understand, for us to transfer everything over to new dates, they are new dates that we're supposed to be getting new clients and new revenue for. But right. Some clients are actually not even considering that, and they're saying, well, we've had one client that said, I want my money back, I'm not going to postpone. And what they're thinking is, it's that they are postponing, but there are so many companies out there needing cash flow, they're giving massive discounts.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be. We should do across the board. Discounts shouldn't be a big, massive cash flow drawing, because it'll affect their business later, because their revenue later would actually drop by 30% because they're doing all these cash flow discounts. And so they're cancelling services like us and their venues because they're going to get a 30% discount or whatsoever somewhere else. So that's not fair to vendors like ourselves, that they're trying to cancel to get another deal somewhere else and take advantage. So we're trying to get customers and brides and all of these people that are kind of surrounding us to understand we are still just a business, and we're doing our best to help and our best to keep afloat and keep alive through this time, so that we are alive at the end of this to fulfill your weddings, to fulfill what we've done for you. So we're finding middle grounds, to some that are losing their jobs and they don't have the financial money to fulfill. And we are looking at middle grounds and saying, okay, you know what, let's work on how we can support you during this time. But at the same time, the ones that are taking us for a ride, it's just like, that's not fair. It really isn't fair. But we are looking at the middle grounds of how we can help people, how we can do things. And, for those that aren't going to be on board of like suppliers that are helping, like all of us are, it's really a shame, because they are the companies that I won't ever refer again to any of my clients, the ones that don't want to use the style that, you know, someone might come and say, oh, I'm not really sure about the photo video team that you've got in-house. I would like to use such and such and such. And when I hear the names, the ones that never supported my brides now, I would never recommend them again.
Yeah.
And they've got to understand that as well. It's a team playing. So, you know, it's hard. It's really hard, but we're all in it. Like we say, we're all in it together, but some are just in it more than others.
Yeah. Can I add, Dean, one thing I want to say? You know, there's different sides, right, Anna? It's interesting that you're saying that, you know, like you guys have everything in-house and everything else, and that's fantastic. But I want to put it into perspective as it relates to events that are like of massive, let's say, budgets. Okay. So for instance, I had an event which had already given their 50% deposit to a florist. And with that 50% deposit, I could have probably done a down payment for a mortgage, right? So, and I'm very serious when I say, so it's like, it was perhaps $180,000 worth of flowers and the 50% deposit for that. So let's say this particular florist now has 50% of my client's money, right? Now, the interesting part about that is that I have to think about, so I have to be that person in between that actually has to advocate for my client. But I also have to understand that if you're a florist of that caliber, you're utilizing that money as cash flow for your event. This event is happening supposedly next year. So that money that came into your account is now being utilized to help you survive, right? And then you have all these clients who actually want to have sort of like that money back. And I think part of what we need to do is really delineate in writing, you know, what are the next steps and what can we do? And for me, it's been really interesting because I've had to actually involve the big guns. I've had to involve lawyers because we're talking about crazy amount of money. And we're not just talking about $3,000 deposits here. And so I think that it's important also to understand that, you know, a lot of people are going to be out of business next year, right? Out of business because this is hitting them regardless. So for me, I have to be the responsible party to kind of like look at, I have actually called hotels directly. I've called different companies directly that I feel are the smaller dogs, right? The underdogs. And I've said, listen, you know, what's your plan? And I literally have had frank conversations with them about their financial status, because what I don't want is for next year for them to be non-existent. And my client thinks that, you know, they've got them hired. And so I think we're just going through so many different things and so many iterations. And everybody has, you know, their way of kind of working through these hardships right now, but it's incredible to what it's doing to us as the individuals who have to be the medium. Like, we're in the middle and we want everybody to be happy.
Yeah.
Wanted to throw that out there.
Yes, no, that was great, Kathy. Thank you. For those that have just joined, you can use the chat box. Thank you. We're seeing all of you guys put in your names, your businesses, and where you're from. That's fantastic. If you've got any questions, you can also put them into that box too. We are already, believe it or not, almost halfway through this session already. Time is actually flying. As we said before, so Kathy is actually in New York, New Jersey. It's almost 6 o'clock where she is. Funke is in Nigeria. It's almost midnight where she is. Kevin is in Zimbabwe, Harare, almost midnight where he is. And Anna woke up very early for us this morning, and it's almost 8 o'clock where she is. Yeah, so thank you very much for the speakers again for joining us, and thanks for everyone coming on, even those that are coming on now. So just relating to what Kathy and Anna just said, actually, that really leads well into my next question, because what I was going to ask is, do you think there's going to be a kind of scaling back with what some of our clients are spending now? Because as Kathy said in her first comment, you know, everyone's losing money right now. Anna just said that, you know, a lot of people are going for cheaper vendors or cheaper venues that are giving them 30% off or more you know, just to get the cash flow in. Do you feel like, you know, everyone hasn't got the same clientele, but do you feel like there's going to be a scaling back going forward after this, once we can do events again? And I will send that to Funke first.
I think that to be realistic, right? First of all, I mean, and I will speak about Nigeria. Because of what is happening, we're having a lot of you know, I would say
Funke, we're having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Funke.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Oh, fantastic. So I said that because I'm going to speak from the Nigerian perspective. At the moment, Nigeria is dealing with, of course, as most countries are, but Nigeria is dealing with some financial implications, right? Which means that a lot of the money is going to be in the hands of only, maybe I would say, maybe I'll say a few that will want to spend money. So I feel that for now, just even because of the number, because we also have to reduce the number of people. So even if the lockdown, until there's a vaccine, right? I don't see us doing the scale of events that we normally would do. So normally, you know, from now till like December, they're usually concerts. They're usually loads of weddings, loads of, I would say, funerals, loads of birthdays, milestones, huge events. But I think that people are going to kind of scale down on numbers, right? Scale down on numbers and also scale down budget-wise. But guess what? Even in the scaling down, I also feel that there'll be people that will spend more on intimate events. So people will spend more, they will focus more on the details. Even if it's 100 people, 200 people, they would normally have spent for 1,000 people. They would actually spend more on the ones for 50 people, for 100 people. That is one. Secondly, in Nigeria, we usually have a lot of people going outside Nigeria to have destination weddings or destination events. I had a lot of destination events, you know, for this year, all totally canceled. I don't even know if it can be postponed, canceled. What this also means is that those people that would have had the destination events are going to have the events in Nigeria. So it actually gives an opportunity for the Nigerian event planners to have more business. But I just think that, yes, clients will scale down for a while. It's for a while. It's not immediately. I mean, it's not going to be forever. It's for a while, because one thing about our culture, and even, I mean, all over the world, you know, but most especially in Nigeria, is that we are very big on celebrations. No matter how small, we celebrate everything. We celebrate the reason why something is being celebrated. So we're celebrating, you celebrating something that is being, you know, that's how we celebrate. So people are going to actually still celebrate, because first of all, they're going to be grateful that they are alive.
Yeah.
They're going to be grateful that they came out of this alive. What? So they will celebrate. But of course, they will scale back. Maybe the productions may not be as large, so the venues are going to have to change, you know. So a lot of things are going to happen, but I know that there'll still be celebrations. And of course, they'll scale down. But the people that can afford it will probably also spend more. And they want that attention to detail and luxury that one brings to the table. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Funke. Someone in the comments said we have Aso Ebi already, so they're already ready to party basically for the for the future. Okay, so Kevin, what's your thoughts? Scaling back.
So, of course, there is going to be some kind of scaling back because of all the financial implications that are happening to different people that are not able to work and earn any money. And of course, as creatives, it is not a pleasant thing, because we're always there to say, no, why don't we add this? Why don't we add this? And things like that. So, yeah, so I mean, we just obviously have to prepare to kind of also scale down our, you know, creativity. And I don't mean that, you know, when someone scales down their budget, they should get like a less, you know, detail-oriented event and things like that. It's just looking at what is really important and making sure that we are pressing on the elements that are going to literally still make the events beautiful and not compromise the quality and things like that. So I think that's where true creativity comes in, when we have to work with what we have because of the situation, but still, you know, blow our clients off, you know, their minds, where they should walk into the event and think, okay, I know we downscaled, etc., and then get there and look at this production that is insane. So we're really going to work hard at, well, we're going to have to work hard at that. However, I also feel that not everyone is losing money, hey, at this time. There are people that are making loads of money. And I tell you, recently, a client of mine just said, hey, Kev, I know you guys are in a mess at the moment, but we've opened another wing of our business and we're now supplying ABC and things like that and stuff like that. So can you think about other things that we can incorporate into our wedding when we get back into like planning the wedding again? And, you know, we're making a little bit more extra money or whatever. And some people are making like really huge margins. So I think we just have to be ready for the balance. Some people are going to be lucky enough to get clients that have so much money because they've been selling masks and gloves and sanitizer and all that stuff. And some people will have to scale down. So, I mean, we just kind of have to wait for when we're able to work to sort of then see, you know, what needs to be scaled down and what needs to be upped. So I think I'm still quite positive about everything, whether it's a scaling down, whether it's a budget that's going up. It's still the same energy, guys. You know, whatever we normally put in is what we're going to put in. So it doesn't make it any difference in terms of the service delivery. But yeah, we should just be ready for anything.
Okay, and then to you, Anna, and then Kathy, please.
Yeah, I agree with Kevin. There are a lot of clients out there that actually aren't suffering financially. There are a lot of people working from home who still have an income. There are a lot of people who are actually in front line at hospitals, working and everything. So there are a lot of people that actually aren't financially suffering. But in saying so, there are clients that come to us, and a lot of them aren't actually changing anything. They're just saying, we just want a new date, and that's all we're doing. But we do have some that have actually called us and said, you know, we've both lost our jobs. My partner's in the gym industry, so the gym is closed. Now I'm in the hospitality industry, and I've been let off as well. So those clients that actually genuinely don't have the money, we will compromise and we'll work it out. And we said, you know what, if you're postponing to 6 months, 12 months, let's chat closer to your new date and see, because you might get a job by then, and you might say, you know what, we're in a good position, we don't want to change anything. So we've just told everyone, don't think about it now and don't stress about it now during this time. Like, your wedding's still 6 months from now, your wedding's still 3 months from now, whatsoever. Let's talk about it when it's 4 weeks from now, and let's see what your situation is. Or send me an email of what you're thinking, because they've changed venues. I said, let's just redesign and see where we're sitting at. But I'm telling everyone just not to panic and not to stress at the moment, because there's no use stressing. There's no use being really upset about the fact that you can't get married now. I've just told everyone, let's just relax a bit, and let's get to the problem when we get closer. And then they've all said, all right, yeah, you're right. That's right. Let's just kind of, you know, take it as it comes. And we've also said that to, you know, all our suppliers that work around us and the industry as well. We've just told everyone, look, people may downsize, people may be looking for new venues. So there'll be a lot of people looking for new venues, because venues won't have dates for them. So their current venues are not going to have a Saturday available for everyone that wants to postpone. So they're going to be looking for new venues. They're going to be looking for other suppliers. So we've just said to everyone, let's just all just work together. And if you need help looking for a new supplier because you can't have the current supply, we'll find someone equivalent, or we find someone that's, you know, going to help you out with pricing because you've lost your deposit somewhere else. So we're just telling everyone, we're here to help. And even if you haven't booked us as your florist or as your stylist and you need assistance because you've lost somewhere else, everyone's opened their doors and said, come and see us and speak to us. If we can help financially with someone else, for someone else, we will. And that's what we've kind of just told everyone, you know, just come to us, just speak to us, just communicate. There's a solution for everything.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Anna. Kathy, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
So, you know, it's interesting because I am obviously, you know, wholeheartedly a planner, but then I live with a scientist. My husband's, you know, a medical director. He's a person that understands what's going on science-wise. And I have that bit of a background, you know, in it, hearing and listening to conversations and hearing him explain things to me sometimes, that it just leads me to believe that yeah, just like we started initially, we started scaling back, right, on the amount of events first, and then they started scaling back on the amount of people. I feel as if we're not going to be able to host a party just as our clients wanted it initially. That might not be the case. You know, there may be regulations going in as, you know, they try to figure out what the best options are as it relates to keeping everybody safe. I think safety is going to be the biggest thing, because there are no therapeutic drugs. There's no vaccines out there yet. And so the new norm, it'll be interesting to see what that means, because the event industry is all about tact. It's all about serving you, placing plates, you know, touching, hugging, feeling, and everything else. How are we going to do these things moving forward? So for me, I think, yeah, I mean, I'm interested in understanding what that's going to do to the scale of things, but I'm also interested in what we're going to do about safety. You know, I think safety measures need to come in first. What does that mean? Are we now having parties with masks? You know, are we now doing gloves and stuff like that? Are our clients going to want to do something like that? Is that going to happen? You know, and so for me, it's like I'm taking it even further. I want to understand, you know, how are we going to re-enter? You know, when I think about a rocket ship, you know, when people send, you know, people to the moon and stuff, you know, that they're prepping for that entry, right, into orbit and stuff. But then they also prep to come back down. So for me, it's like, how are we going to prep? You know, what's the prep like? And I don't think, if somebody has the answer, please let me know. Because I don't really think that there is a true straight answer in terms of how we're going to re-engage. You know, how is that going to happen? Because without any therapeutic drugs, without any kind of safety rules and regulations, and I bet you what the event industry is going to have to do if we don't have any therapeutic drugs or vaccines or anything like that, is to now move towards a safety regulation kind of thing. And they're going to have to involve, you know, the medical field in this, because otherwise nobody's going to have events. You know, yeah. And the reality is that, you know, the safety must be first. And it's safety not only for us, because if you want to have a party and I'm, you know, and I'm ready and available, if I have one of those suits that, you know, just cover me with everything, okay, I'll do the party.
Bling it up. You can bling it up, Kathy.
Please, you know, I'll hook it up. But the reality is that, how is everybody else going to engage? How are we going to engage? Are people, listen, we got to think about the travel aspects of things. People usually traveling, like for me, I'm a global planner. So we plan events all over the world. And that means that their guests are coming from all over the world. So not only is the event industry impacted, is how is the actual guest going to be impacted? Will they be able to come to the event? Which is what I'm faced with some of my events that are happening now, where people are coming from everywhere. And you really have to postpone because there's no way for them to get to the location. So a lot of safety talk has to happen, a lot of rules and regulations and many things and standard operating procedures. I see that happening for the event world if we really do want to open up again. You know, and I don't know if that means 10 people per event at first. I don't know if that means 25 people, but the reality is that there has to be some sort of rules and regulation and rules of engagement as it relates to hosting events. Because I'm sure not putting myself in danger at all. Yeah. You know, it's just not worth it. And I know for sure clients are worried about their elder parents, their grandparents and everything else. They're not going to want to have these people you know, infected or hurt over a celebration. So I know for sure that if we as the event world do not start thinking about this on a scientific and medical level, to see how they can help us, you know, re-engage, I think it's going to take longer than what we even anticipate.
Yes. And I know a lot of industries probably are saying this, but I think in the events industry, in the hospitality industry and entertainment industry, we have been hit probably the worst by this. We have had to shut down, or amongst the first people to shut down first, and we're going to be amongst the one of the last industries to reopen. So this actually really leads me on to my next question, because a few of you said that, you know, some of your clients are making more money now. Some of them still have money. Some of them are going to be spending a lot more money once this is all over, or once we adjust to the new normal. But for us in the events industry, a lot of us are not known to be your most, I guess, dynamic entrepreneurs, yeah? And I'm speaking for myself as well. I'm not disrespecting anyone. I'm just saying we're not known for being like super entrepreneurs. We're known for being creatives. And creative people are now being told that they need to pivot, and all these words that they need to create new streams of income, and they need to, you know, all these years, all of the motivational speakers and stuff have been saying, you know, go for plan A, because when there's plan A, you don't need a plan B, and you know, put all your eggs in one basket, basically, because once you set your ship for sail, that has got, you know, you're going to make it work one way or another. But now we're being told we need to create other streams of income. We need to pivot. We need to make more out of what we do. We can't just do our regular business, because now our regular businesses are not making money. So what would you guys say about pivoting businesses and creating more streams of income? And what are you personally doing about that notion? And that can go to Kathy, actually.
Bing, bing, bing. Okay, so, I mean, I'm an interesting sort of like choice for first, because I have more than one platform in my business, right? I do my events world, which is some corporate and some social, and then I also do workshops, public speaking, and online and coaching. So for me, it's a little bit different. I don't have all my eggs in one basket. But what I will say is that, you know, when I hear people telling other people, oh, it's time for you to pivot, it's time for you, I really am having not a hard time with the word, but I really am wanting to be really cautious as to who I say that to, right? Because just like you said, not everybody is in the position to pivot. And I only say pivot if it feels good. Like, if you are not a teacher, please don't try to do workshops. If you are not, train yourself to do something that you actually love and will actually learn from. You know, today I heard something that was so like to me, which was, you know, the brain dies when you stop learning, right? And so that little piece of information said to me, listen, this is a great opportunity for people to continue to learn. I'm not telling somebody to pivot. I'm telling people to learn, right? Because if they learn, they can create, right? And depending on what that is, you know, you can learn things that are actually, that you're intuitively good at. Because when you ask somebody to pivot, pivot means make a complete change. And I'm not asking people to pivot. I'm asking people to actually learn from this experience and try to do things that feel well to them, to their core, that resonate. Because if I'm an event planner, and although I love exercising and stuff like that, but you won't see me teaching an online exercise class. You know, like, please, whatever you do, stick to things that actually are true to your core. I'm not asking anybody to pivot, because when you pivot, you literally are making a complete change. That's my 2 cents.
Perfect. Thank you. Kevin, let's hear from you.
I mean, what am I going to say after Kathy has said what she said, you know? It's like, okay, so next question.
No, listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion as well. And not everyone has to agree on this platform as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so
I mean, well, fortunately for you, Kathy, I agree with you right now. You know, I think I understand, you know, the pivoting concept. But like she's saying, like, you know, like Kathy said, you have to go back into, you know, we already do what we do because we love doing it.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine being told to start working in a medical field because of having to earn some kind of income and things like that. It's really, it's very alien. And most of us left some kind of formal job so that we do what we want to do because we love it. So I think it's just about going back to looking at within, you know, if there's anything else that you are not able to do because you've been so busy with events, if there's that option at all, then this is the time to look at it and see if you can explore other, you know, whether it's teaching or, you know,
Right.
online classes and things like that, if it's there. If it's not, guys, I really think we should stay in our lanes. I really don't think this is going to happen forever. Yes, it's difficult, just like anything. You know, I was actually speaking to someone recently and I said, you know, imagine a pregnant woman you know, obviously when you're pregnant, you have to act a certain way because you can't obviously lie flat on your belly and things like that because you've got something that you're carrying. And then after you give birth, you have to go back into, you know, lying on your belly and whatever and things like that. So yes, it's terrible and it's happening right now and we are losing money, but we just kind of have to be patient so that we're not messing up other people's industries by just getting them, hey guys, I'm now a teacher, and then you're literally just doing it and messing up that industry. I mean, if we stay in our industries and be innovative, there's so much that we haven't tapped into just in the events industry. I know we can gather, and that is a known fact, but there's so much that we can tap into the events industry. I mean, we have to sit down and be realistic into what can I do in the industry, you know, before looking at another industry. Look within. I mean, like Kathy said, just look within and make sure that you dust yourself off and know that there's absolutely nothing that you can do. Then think about sweeping floors and mopping toilets and all that stuff. Yeah, that is like a last resort. Yeah, guys, let's not be scared. Let's not panic, because like when you're panicking, you don't think. You won't think straight. You won't be innovative, and we have to be in our element. Let's stay in our element. Let's find something that we can do. As difficult as it sounds, but if you literally sit down and think about what's the next step, what can I do to make extra money within my own industry, there definitely is something that you may be able to find. Yeah,
okay, Funke, I want to ask you something, because Kevin basically just said we need to be patient, and I'm going to say this in the most respectful way that I can. I'm not a Nigerian, but I've got a lot of Nigerian friends, and my fiance is Nigerian too, yeah? So hopefully that gives me the pass, yeah, to say this. But Nigerians are not known for being very patient. Yeah, that's not one of the Nigerian qualities. In fact, Nigerians are quite known for going for it, yeah? Like, they're not usually known for waiting around and lying around. They're actually very entrepreneurial people, and those are some of the people that are my best friends and who have inspired me to be in business. So, Funke, tell me, what do you think about being patient? Do we pivot or do we be patient?
Whoa, Dean, we're patient people, actually. So I think that when we say pivot, multiple streams of income, be patient and things like that, what I say to that is, when people also say multiple streams of income, I don't think they necessarily mean that you must do something that is outside of what you already know. For example, there are some things that I know that I will never be able to do. I can't even do it. So I think that the key thing is, and based on what even Kathy, Kevin have said, is that you need to look within yourself. Look within the industry we're in. Look within what we do at the moment. I've had to do that. You need to get your mind clear. See, one of the things I want to tell everyone that's also listening here is that, look, we're at a point where when this thing happened, we didn't even know what was going on. Now people are dying. things are just like going, we can't even understand it, and we're still in a lockdown, and it's still rising, right? So I think that what we need to do is to try as much as possible to have clarity in our minds, and which brings me to patience. We don't panic, have clarity in our minds, sit down, think about it and say, what can I do? How else? When people say, do so or do this to be able to get a multiple, it's not necessarily that you need to just go outside of what you know. Some people, as Kathy has said, some people are coaches, some people are, different, we all do different things. So right now, I think what people need to do is to look within the industry, look within what we have, and just see what else you can do that you love. What can you do? You could just take one thing out of it and just use it to do what you love. Now, you said that we are not the most patient people. The honest truth is, I don't think that it's not that we're not patient. I just think that we're just very, very, very energetic. We're energetic. We just want to get things done. We're just like, move. What's going on? I don't think that's not being patient. I just think that's just like, hey, go. So I just think that what it is, that what is actually even up happening to us now, right, is that this is actually forcing everyone to just sit, to think, right, and not panic. We can't even have, if we panic, we can't even do anything. So the best thing for us to do is to bring that resourcefulness that Nigeria has, because we are very resourceful. I must tell you that we are resourceful. We will make out of a tissue, we can do anything. So basically, what I would just say is that we all just need to understand that when people are saying diversify, change, if, for example, in your business at the moment, this is what I would say to anyone. What you should actually also do as well is that in your business at the moment, what can you do your business better? How can you run your business better? What are the processes you can do in your business? When maybe in the process you used to do something for 3 hours, how best can you do this for 1 hour? How can you make use of technology at the moment? Yes, this is technology that we're using here. We all never thought that we could all do this. I mean, people have always done it. We've always done it. But what can you do right now to make your business process better? How can you make sure that when you send out that presentation is amazing? When you send out that contract, it's great. When you send out that email, it's wonderful. How can you also redesign your product in your business to make it acceptable to different types of people? What can you do? How can you ensure that when you're even using technology, right? People are talking about things like Zoom weddings, online events, virtual events. What are the things that you can do? This is the time to do that. So when you are in the space that you are, which is in the event space, you can actually make multiple streams of income from that space. But make sure that each part of the space that you are in, you have actually anchored on it. And you know it so well that when they wake you up, you can actually just spit, things out of it. So it's very, very important. I think that's what I would say. So I think that we're just very resourceful, we're energetic, and we are patient people.
Listen, I'm not coming for Nigerians right now. I love Nigerians. I love you. I love you, Nigerians. Yeah.
We are used to it.
As soon as the planes are flying again, that's the first country I'm gonna go to. Yeah, I'm telling you. But listen, all I'm saying is a lot of my best friends are Nigerian, and they're the ones that have inspired me to not just wait for one day. They're the ones that got me to start my business straight away. Like when I was in university, they're like, "Listen,
I love that."
Yeah, they got me to do it now. They're like, "We could do this now," and you guys are very much inspired. Yeah.
We have a can-do.
I would agree.
We have a can-do spirit. We have a can-do spirit. I would call it the can-do spirit. So that's what sometimes it looks like we're not patient, but it's just that we just have a can-do spirit. We just want to get things done like now.
Yeah.
What they call that here, Funke, hustlers.
Yes,
that's what they call that in New York. It's like your guys are hustlers.
Yeah, a few people have said in the comments, go-getters, resourceful, hustlers.
Hustler.
That's what I meant. Anyway, let's move on hopefully I can, you know.
You can survive this one.
Yeah, hopefully I can come back from that in a bit. But Anna, what have you got to say about being patient right now? Obviously, you know, you've done quite well for yourself. I'm guessing you've got some reserves in your bank account to get you through this time. But for the people that are not so fortunate or not so prepared, what would you say to them?
Look, from the beginning, in the end of the day, this is our only cash flow that comes through, because we don't have other businesses and we don't have a massive amount of portfolios of investments and all of those things. So between me and Bailey, when this first happened, we're like, oh my gosh, like it means no cash flow is going to come in, because you've projected your budgets and everything for March, April, May, and then all of a sudden nothing is coming in from those events. And then when that happens, you're like, okay, you still got mortgages to pay. You still got bills to pay. We've still got rent to pay now for our warehouse. There's still staffing to be paid. So then the first thing that happens there is the only thing that can kind of be disconnected from all this is the staff. So we had to let most of our staff go because we can't afford to pay them because there is no work for them to do here. And then when that happens, you feel like, oh my God, you've actually cut off their stream of income. And then the government announced that they can go on new start allowances. So then we didn't feel as bad. Okay, they can get a couple $100 a week to help them survive. Then we started looking at things like, okay, oh my gosh, you know, Bailey, what can we do? We've got 5 vehicles. We've got 2 trucks and 3 vans sitting there, and it's going to be sitting there for the next 3 months doing nothing. Wow. So then we said, okay, do we start doing couriering? Do we start, you know, renting the vans and the trucks out? We started thinking about what can we do with the things that we have. So I said to, you know, our business managers and the full-time staff that were around, we said to, before we let you go, why don't you start thinking about other ways of making money within our business, with our vehicles, or with what you can do? And none of them came up with anything. So we said to them, you know, you haven't come up with anything that could sustain your wage. So unfortunately, we've had to let you go. But like other people are saying in the message, bills are not going to wait. So we've actually, Bailey's gone and created an Uber account and said, oh, I'm going to Uber. I'm going to start driving people around and let's get, and I said, and I was like, okay, you know what, get the Uber account, but you're never going to activate it. You're never going to use it. So he's right. He's never used it, because it's not what he does. And it's like what Kevin's saying, you know, don't go outside the square and start taking other people's bread and butter, because that is other people's way of making their living is through Uber and all of that. So then we're like, what else can we do? There really isn't anything we can do to make money in our industry right now because of such closure. But we are fortunate enough that we're still getting a lot of inquiries for next year's weddings. So we're still getting brides coming to see virtually, going, hey, I'm going to be married in 2021. I'm not affected by this because it's 12 months from now, and we're all hoping that it will be over by then. But we've put clauses in our contract to say that if COVID-19 still affects you in 12 months' time, you can postpone your date still, so you don't lose any. So people are actually still putting deposits down and booking us through virtual tours, online inquiries, online bookings. So we are getting cash flow through deposits. And we're really blessed that there are so many brides out there that are still have the spirit of planning their wedding for next year. Amazing. And actually still going, you know what, I'm still, you know, when those clients actually come and inquire and we speak to them, you feel really good because it feels like nothing's happening to you. You feel like your business is still normal, still everything. And you're like, wow, okay, you know what? I'm happy because I'm talking about such beautiful events happening next year. You're actually really blessed to be able to have brides that are still going.
Oh, what's screen sharing over here?
Oh. Are we back to normal? Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, so we're actually fortunate to have a small little cash flow to allow us to keep going and to keep moving without diversifying and looking at other things. But at the same time, when we get busy again, we need all our staffing to come back. We need all our team members to come back. And it's unfortunate we couldn't support them during this time. But are they going to support us when we do come back to a full stream flow? Because do they feel like that they've been neglected by us as business owners during this time? You know, so they're all the questions we're asking. So we're continually speaking to, you know, all of our staff. Are you okay? Do you need a meal? Do you need somewhere to stay? And all of this stuff. So we're making sure they're okay, just so that, because in the end of the day, our team is the biggest assets to our business, is our team. We can't do it alone. So we're trying to make sure that, hey, everyone's still okay. And when things bounce back, and because the government here in Australia announced a JobKeeper payment, so anyone that's, you know, been full-time or been we can employ them back to work with us at a reduced rate, but the government will subsidise and help pay. So that's kind of helped us keep some of our full-time staff that does all our marketing and promo, because what Bailey is doing in the background is creating a massive campaign to launch as soon as this is over. So we are planning, and like Kevin say, we are looking at things of how to make things better, how to systemize things better during this downtime, because we've never had time to look at our business and go, okay, we need to stock take, we need to look at things. We've got a warehouse that's full of stuff that I've probably hoarded for years. And all of a sudden I've got this whole massive warehouse that's been cleaned up during this period. And I've made a big announcement for ladies, you know, that flowers that do not pass as my standard, they've all been pulled out, that has marks on them in the artificial range. And we've actually asked, let people come and just pick it up and take it home and play with it for free. So that actually gives us that opportunity to go, okay, we cleaned up. Now look at new designs. We're actually sitting down and creating new pieces and new shapes and things. It's the only time we get to actually do that. So like we're saying, we need cash flow to pay the bills, to pay the rent, to do, you know, things we need to do to put food on the table. But at the same time, it gives us a breather to actually clean our business up and look at new systems and new processes. Maybe even in this time, what other small businesses can we help? But there are a lot of businesses out there that are not surviving, because it's unfortunate. I'm actually seeing a lot of Instagram posts or even on for sale posts saying, you know, so I'm closing my doors. I'm a small florist. I'm selling my fridges. I'm selling my pieces. I just can't stay afloat. So I'm closing my doors. And there are a lot of them that are closing their doors. And it's so sad. It is really sad. So.
Wow, I must say as well, just so some people know the kind of difference in Australia compared to, I guess, New York or London. Australia is a massive country, but they've only had just under 7,000 confirmed cases of COVID or the coronavirus. And I say this in inverted commas, they've only had 80 deaths. So compared to London and compared to New York, that is a massive difference. So that's why I'm guessing Anna's husband could even consider doing Uber, because in London and in New York, people would be like, hell no to Uber right now, because that's probably not the job they want to do.
That's a great point, Dean, because when she said that, I'm like, Uber? But I get it. I kind of like...
At that time, we only had 3 confirmed cases.
Yeah.
So you know, it's not that bad. And at first I was like, you know what, this virus is not that bad. What's everyone going on about? And Bailey keeps going to me, it's not just a small little virus. And I keep telling him, no, it's nothing, until it became such a big deal overseas in America, in Italy. And that's when we said, you know what, our government in Australia has done a great job containing the actual virus. That's why, but the measures that they've put in place of our lockdowns is till July at the moment. So we can't do any events until maybe even August, September, who knows?
Wow.
And that's with 80 people, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
80 people. So as I said before, every life matters and is important. But compared to the numbers we've lost in the UK and in America, and to a lesser extent as well in Africa, that's quite low. So guys, we are like within the last half an hour already. I cannot believe it. Time is flying. I could have done 2 hours easily with any of you by yourself, but I've been lucky enough to get all 4 of you on this call. So we're just going to keep it moving. There's so many questions coming in, so many things people want to ask. But I guess right now, the question I want to put to all of you is the future of events. We've kind of had the panic, we've had the kind of hysteria, and a lot of people have now switched off from the TV, they switched off the news, they're not listening to all of the stuff that's coming to their WhatsApp and to their Instagram. They're now looking forward to the future, and they want to know what's going to happen next. So we've heard that in New York, Zoom weddings are now legal. My friend Matty Gono, who's actually on this call and who some of you know, sent me an article this week saying that for the next 12 to 18 months, we're probably going to have events for 50 to 100 people max. And
where does he live?
What's that, sorry?
Where does he live?
So my friend Matty, she lives in London. And she sent me an article saying that there's, for the next, it's just a guess, it's just like a theory, but once events are allowed to happen again, we're going to see events for just between 50 to 100 people max. What does everyone think about that? Let's go to Funke first, because Nigeria probably has the largest events probably in the world. Yeah, like thousands of people in churches, thousands of people at weddings. I know you touched on this a little bit before, but what do you think, Funke? Like, how are we going to have to adjust to this?
Okay, so I'll be very real. I mean, first of all, it's very uncertain. We don't even know what is happening at the moment in terms of how this will all pan out. We don't know. Until there's a vaccine, really, we're probably going to be living in an era with COVID, right? So not post-COVID, not pre-COVID, almost like with COVID. So when you are in an era with COVID, how will the industry be? What the people in the industry are doing in Nigeria, the events industry, we have a few associations that are coming together to find a way to speak to the government, right? For the government to know that we are prepared. We are ready, in terms of health, in terms of safety. We already know, I see it, I know that there's no way we will be able to do events of 1,000, 500. Nah. Even if we're going to do anything, because until the government, I think that what it is that it's until the government brings the regulation. The government has to bring the regulation out, because whatever we do, it's going to be probably against what the government wants to do. So we just have to also find a way to convince the government for us to make sure that there are a lot of safety regulations, health. Like I said to one of my colleagues today, I said, we have to, I mean, in America, and in the UK, for everyone, you all are very used to health, right? Hygiene at your events. In Nigeria, we're not very big on that. So I know that right now, what we'll probably have to do is to make sure that everybody, hygiene-wise, there's probably a certification that you must even get for you to be able to even get into the space. We may even have to get everybody to come with your corona, you've tested for corona, you are negative. You must be able to bring that into the space, even if it's 10 people. Everybody must probably have to hold their certificate to say that I am corona negative. I am not positive, guys. I am negative, right? So there are just so many things that I see that will change or happen. Kathy has spoken about safety. We've talked about safety so much. I mean, we've even said that in our weddings, normally, of course, we sit 10 on a table, right? And we're always filled to capacity. So if a hall seats 1,000 people, you will see us, there are 1,000 people inside that hall, or even 1,200. But now, maybe a hall that seats 1,000 people, we'll probably have to start sitting 100 people. We have to probably sit 3 on a table. People probably have to come into a venue. Everybody has like masks. Right now, the government has said, of course, you can't go out without a mask. How will people, even do their makeup? That's the one that is making me laugh. Like, are you going to have your makeup on with your mask? But really, the key thing is we need to stay alive. We need to stay alive. So I think that even before the event industry comes out, right, we as the people in the industry have to find a way to ensure that even everybody in the industry understands health regulations, understands hygiene, understands safety, understands, the precautions they have to take. Even if it's an event for 10 people, 10 people, 5 people, there must be precautions that we must take to instill confidence in our clients, instill confidence for our team as well. Because you don't want to bring your team out and you can't assure them of safety. You don't want to bring clients to the event and they are not safe. So I would rather, for me, I see that I would rather that before we go into the industry and say, this is how it's going to be, and be so excited, we need to ensure that we make sure that the back end is very tight. So if it's going to take us, let's say 3 months, 4 months, to be able to get everybody's, how will I call it now? Bring everybody to speed about hygiene, bring everybody to speed about health, bring everybody to speed about all that needs to be done. If it's going to take us that long to do that before we get into the industry, if it's going to be next year, then let it be next year. I don't know if you understand what I mean, because we need to really ensure that people don't die. I'm very particular about people not dying. In fact, I'm sorry that I'm speaking for a while, but I remember that even when this happened, I was at an event, right? And someone that tested positive was at this event, and I found out that he was positive later. I spoke to him. I interacted with him. You know, I was scared. So I thought to myself, is this how so you mean people who come to the event and we won't know who has it? So obviously everybody has to probably wear the mask. You probably have to do the ceremony at home or do the event, as we said, online and film it for over 1,000 people to watch. You know, maybe as we're here now, we're 20, we have the ceremony in here, and then you beam it to 1,000 people to watch. Everybody doesn't have to be there. As Kathy said, how are we going to dance? In Nigeria, we dance a lot. We are always dancing on the dance floor. The after party is always lit. How are we all going to get into the crowded space? So we can't do that for now. I think that we have to, the reality of it for me, and I'm being as realistic as possible, is that in Nigeria, right, in my country, we have to be realistic. The reality is that we need to get into the industry gradually. So sit-down dinners, we may not be able to have sit-down dinners. We may not be able to have sit-down events where, you know, we're all crowded. Even at our events, when you say it's strictly by invitation, people don't even adhere to it sometimes. So now people have to adhere. So if I say it's only 100 people that can enter the venue, I will count 100 people, and once it's 100, we shut the doors. You know, for you guys, Kathy and Dean, you have regulations. You have people that can actually come and tell you, the fire marshal can come and shut you down. Yeah. The fire marshal doesn't shut us down in Nigeria. So we have to create that for ourselves in order to survive. That's how clients are going to, you know, we're going to instill confidence in our clients. So that's kind of like what I see. We as the event planners in Nigeria have to be the ones to actually speak to the government. So we can't allow the government actually also come and dictate to us. We have to actually engage them, which is what we're doing at the moment, you know. That's what we're doing at the moment. Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm realizing people are calling you FBO. So I'm gonna steal that as well. So thank you, Funke. FBO. So Kathy, I think we need to go to you on this because obviously America has got the most cases of this virus, the most deaths. You said your husband is in the medical field. I just want to say something quickly. In the UK, the NHS is now speaking about having some kind of tracking device. Like on your phone, you would be able to see if other people around you have tested positive or negative for the coronavirus. It's kind of getting into a little bit of a big brother type way of being, but I think for people's safety, they're probably going to go for it because everyone wants to be safe. As Funke said, like a certificate or something would be helpful to say, I am corona-free. I have been tested positive. What do you think about the future of events in America or even in just New York? And do you feel like people are going to take to this kind of tracking way of being like, they're going to be happy to be tracked, like their health?
Believe it or not, we're already tracked, darling. I mean, that's part of like what it is. Even if we're not told, we're absolutely tracked already. Now it's going to be a matter of how okay are we going to be allowing people, knowing that now it's actually happening for real, give people the authority to do that. I really do think and hope that the event industry really sits down with scientists. and I'm not kidding about this, because scientists, doctors, medical people that can actually talk to us about possibilities of re-engagement. I just, you know, I'm possibly one of the most positive people in the world, but I see this taking a long time to actually come to fruition. Events as we know it, I don't believe are going to happen immediately, meaning immediately now, like in the next month, 5 months or so. I do feel that we are going to go back, but we as the event industry need to rely on science. We really do. I feel like that's the only way out in terms of us being able to restart, reignite, and redo. The thing about that is that, you know, with all these devices and technology that are available, like, you know, thermometers and things like that. I know there's a thermometer out there, and I forget the company my husband told me about, who's tracking, you know, already fevers in different areas. And that's how we've been able to tell, like, where most of the coronavirus is actually happening, right? Now, these things are happening worldwide, and in America, we've been hit the worst. Now, what does that mean for us in terms of how are we going to move forward and approach things? I think that, again, we cannot rush into doing events as much as we want to, as much as we miss it, as much as we are, you know, being hit with cash flow problems and things like that. I think we definitely need to understand what the logical next step is going to be. And the logical next step, unfortunately, is such an unknown, because not only is COVID a new thing, a new strain, but how it's a virus, you know, and viruses really don't have any therapeutic medicine, to be honest with you. And so to think that, you know, we will understand exactly how this is going to get fixed in the next few months, that we are going to be able to decode this that fast, no. What I do know for sure is that we need to sit down with the people that actually understand these things and see how and what, perhaps, you know, some devices can be created and made and developed so that during a particular event, we can do, you know, we can actually track, monitor, or whatever the case may be. However, the thing about that is that sometimes when I hear people say, oh, you know, they did their temperature, some people are asymptomatic. So you have no idea, you know, if, and while being asymptomatic, they can actually infect other people. So it's a tough one, Dean. That's a very tough question. And if I had a crystal ball, I wish that it would tell me exactly what the thing is going to be in the next few months. How do we rectify this? How do we go back in? How do we re-engage? I just think that we all have to be really smart, and we all have to make sure that we follow all the proper procedures in order to not place ourselves in danger, any guests in danger, any of our staff in danger. I think safety should always come first.
And Zoom weddings being legal in New York, is that something that your clients are going to go for, do you feel?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, that's a nice import.
I mean, absolutely. My clients are not going to go for Zoom weddings. I don't have that type of clientele. And that's number one. And number two, you know, the people that are going for the Zoom weddings right now would probably have been the people that would have had 2 people at their wedding in the first place. You know, those Zoom weddings are happening because they're meant to be. It's not because of COVID. I'm not kidding. Am I the only one like that thinks that way? I don't think people are doing the Zoom weddings because they decided all of a sudden that that's how they wanted to get married. No, I think that that's how they would have gotten married. It's just a mirror of what they were thinking about. Some of these people were going to elope. Some of these people were only going to have 5 people at their wedding and things like that. And so now it's just magically convenient for them. But I don't really think the Zoom wedding thing is going to be a thing.
Yeah.
I just don't. At least not for my clients.
Yeah. So Anna, you've got something to say on that.
No, that's true, Kathy. It's not a thing, especially for our clientele. It's about experience, it's about celebrations, and like even Funky's like, you know, it's about dancing and everyone getting together. So, you know, the clientele that are doing Zoom weddings, it's exactly what Kathy said, are people that wanted to just do a registration wedding, that wanted to just go to the register.
first place.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, but it's crazy. It really is crazy. Maybe I'll just continue with that answer of that. Look, like we said, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen. In the end of the day, it's pretty much when the vaccine is going to happen, when our government allows us to have gatherings again. So it's really not up to us as individuals or businesses in this industry to say what's going to happen in the next era of events. We really don't know. We really don't know. But if this keeps going on, seriously, it's going to give us a massive recession in this hospitality industry. It really is. It's affecting so many businesses that I'm actually just really worried that a recession will start hitting us, and it will be a world recession on this hospitality industry. So
Yes.
don't know.
Yeah, no, it's such a true point. We've got about 15 minutes to go. And one thing I did want to ask all of you is, you know, let's pretend that we can do the biggest and best events in the very near future. As you guys, not to put you on the spot right here, but as you guys are the leaders of this industry, and Kevin, I'm going to start with you on this question. What do you see the next trend being? Because I've been in the industry a while now, and I've seen it go from very quite simple and basic, and it's progressed over the years. Yeah, like, you know, where else can we go? We've now got the biggest flowers. We've got custom dance floors. We've got so much lighting fixtures. We've got big stages, massive custom backdrops and furniture. Like, where else can we go in this industry? Kevin.
Right. That's a very interesting question, Dean, because that's something that I've been thinking about, very consciously so. And I feel, you know, because trends come and go, etc., but experiences stay forever. And I feel that is where the trend is going, where you give guests an experience from when they're parking their car, just how everything happens from when you're parking your car, how you're directed to your table, when you get to the place setting, what is the experience, what is the feel, and because you can always take that away. You know, florals are great, they're a great experience. I mean, the design aspect of the wedding is always a very great experience, but I feel that experiences will be more, not to lie entirely on aesthetics. Yes, aesthetics will carry on, we'll still have really amazing flowers, etc. But I feel that experiences are going to be the next level, you know, how everyone feels, how, you know, just how the service is, you know, literally how you get your food and the entertainment, you know, something that's more unconventional. You know, you want to have like ballerinas falling out of ceilings and, you know, things that are just going to blow people out of their minds. You know, a couple of it is already happening within the Lebanese wedding community, if I should say, where they do things and you're just like, what? Like, how did that even happen? But I feel, I mean, for me, I think that's the next trend, you know, the best experience that you could ever have at a celebration.
Okay, great, thank you. And next, Funke, and then Kathy.
All right, thank you. So I don't know why. You know, sometimes you have these things in your head and someone says it and you're like, oh my God, why did he just say that? So basically, for me, I would say, you know, when you're talking about the experience, you know, the personalization. So how is this event different from the next event? And how is this event special to the people that are, you know, the clients, right? So what makes the event, so when Kevin has talked about experience, guest experience, but also the personalization of the event. How is it unique to the client? So how do you tell that this event is different from the next one? So that's what I see. To me, trends, as he says, trends are always there. You know, trends have been there forever. A new trend will come today. There'll be something else tomorrow, but they'll be excited. But you can never take away how you make people feel, how you make the clients feel, how you make the guests feel. You can never take away feeling. You know, you can never take away the way something is done, you know, the way we all experience it, the way we all see it. So I think that's what I see as the future for the industry. I know a lot of people are talking about technology, people are saying all kinds of things, but even with that, you know, even when people talk about, like now, we're having this, right? We're all here and all that. But honestly, there's something that is about the power of just even being in the room with people. We are not created to be alone. We are not created to be isolated. God didn't create us that way. So we need to be together. You know what I mean? So, of course, which will be later. But I'm just saying that those are the kind of things, the experience that people get, you know. When you pay for something, you're getting the value of what you paid for. I think that's kind of like what I would say that I see as the future of events, really.
Thank you so much, Funke. And then Kathy.
Hey, I am, you know, I'm all about experiences, Kevin. That's the premise of my business, is really creating these authentic experiences that are so memorable that those clients are actually inclined to continue to, you know, to source the same type of events through us. And so for us, you know, we've been doing that for a couple of years now. But what I do feel is that, you know, now, aside from that experience, as Funke said, it's that emotional connection. I feel as if, you know, particularly, and maybe I'm dreaming, but I feel as if particularly my clients who were usually worried about the 9-course meal or whatever it is, you know, that's exclusive and different, whatnot. Now I think that they're going to try to hone in on something that is almost intangible, which is whatever that feeling is in the room. How can we create this? And aside from that feeling in the room, I feel they would want for it to transcend to more than one location. You know how you are like captivated and like you can't go anywhere now, right? Because of what's happening in our quarantine and everything else. I feel as if people, when given the opportunity, when things are safe and when we can go back to sort of like quasi-normal, they're going to want to create multi-destination experiences, right? I think that's next level now, right? Instead of just going to one location, maybe going to the other. We've had already clients that do that, but now because we are so captive, right? I think that what's going to happen is our clients are going to start thinking about, what can I do for us, for my friends, for my family, now that we understand, you know, what it's like to be encapsulated in one place. What kind of experience can I bring to them that it's going to totally erase that? And for me, it's probably multi-destination events that are going to be a lot more intimate, you know? People are going to spend more money on these type of events that are more intimate, more specialized, more customized, and perhaps multi-destination. That's my take.
I love that. That is a great answer. Thank you. Anna, let's get your thoughts on this.
Okay. The next trends, God, like everyone's saying, they're seeing different trends from basic, and then all of a sudden ceiling installations are massive now with chandeliers and flowers everywhere. But I think the real biggest next trend is looking for a different venue, because there are so many weddings happening. I don't know if you guys are experiencing where people are like, you know what, I'm sick of the same venue because my cousin's been married there, or I've had friends been married there. I want to look for a new venue. So I think the next big trend that's going to happen is people are going to be building structures on pieces of like acres of land, and they want to build something different on that land to create their weddings, they don't want a hotel wedding anymore. They don't want a event center anymore, because it's been there, it's done that, and there's only so much styling you can do inside it to create something different. But I think people are going to want like something totally different. And they're going to come to us to go, what can you do that is different for my wedding? And I think that's the new trend, is for us to come up with the new trend. the 5 of us to come up with the new trend, the 5 of us to. So if I really had the opportunity right now to create one event and one massive event, I would say the 5 of us come together, create one massive destination event, and it's designed and built by the 5 of us at one destination. And we should do that. When this is over, we should create that one massive event that someone's never ever experienced by the 5 of us.
I absolutely love that. Who in the comments would love to come to the event organized by Kathy, Funke, Kevin, and Anna? Please let us know. That would be absolutely fantastic.
I think we should have the biggest party ever, designed and created by all of us. And I think everyone would forget that they even had a COVID-19.
Yeah, I love it. I can see you're all about collaboration, Anna. That is such a beautiful, beautiful statement, idea and statement. I absolutely love it. We're like 5 minutes.
What are you doing?
What's that?
Funke.
we are 5 minutes from the end, yeah? And guys, we might overrun by the but I've got one more question. Oh, sorry. Someone said, no Zoom wedding. We want our Awambe. We want our Awambe. That's Ebon Lobo, I think it is. That's a funny comment. All right. So listen, my last question, we may overrun this by just a few minutes, but hopefully it won't take too long. In this time, you know, a lot of us are talking about our clients postponing and, you know, we doing their events later down the line, especially for weddings. Let's just talk about weddings right now. We're going to postpone their wedding. They're going to do it later this year. They're going to do it in 2021, etc. But I don't know about you guys, I don't know about everyone's countries, but in the UK here, divorce rate is going up. Mental health issues are going up. People are going crazy, stuck in their house. People have never spent so much time with their partners, with their children, with their cats and dogs and their other pets. And they are just going crazy in the house. People are literally like killing each other, killing their families. It's nothing to do with the coronavirus, yeah? People are losing it. So in this time where mental health issues are going up, where divorce rates are going up, what have you guys got to say about self-care? Like, how can we look after ourselves during this time and make sure we stay sane and we stay healthy mentally and physically and see it through to the end of this? And I'm going to start with Kathy because I know she's into yoga big time and other things. So Kathy, you, and then we're going to go through the same order, then Funke, then Kevin, then Anna, then we're going to end. Thank you very much.
So my big thing, and I mean, I talk about this on my Instagram, for those of you who don't follow me, I talk about meds all the time. And I'm not talking about medicine. I'm not talking about medication. I am talking about being mindful, right? Taking meditation, exercise, diet, right? Yes. And making sure, and sleep, and making sure that you do this. Self-care is something that's my thing. You know, it's the only way. That's the only reason why I have so much energy. It's the only reason why I'm able to outdance. Maybe I won't outdance Funke because Funke is another story, you know, but seriously, the only way that we can create for others is by taking the time to, if you're into meditation, meditative night, you do your exercise, but make sure that you sleep. I'm big on sleep. I'm so big on sleep. I own like 15, 20 different masks. I sleep with a mask every day. I make myself rest because it is extremely important. And I think that we forget because we are taking care of everybody all the time. I think Anna said this in the beginning, and it's true, you know, but I have been very actively changed my lifestyle a while ago. I want to say about 5 years ago, when I decided that I wasn't going to work in the city anymore. I decided that I was going to start looking and striving to lead a better life through meditation, exercise, diet, and sleep. And I think that everybody who's on this panel, if you apply that to your life, you will be so much happier. It's just, life is good, guys.
Okay. Thank you, Kathy. Next to you, Miss FBO. Are you still there?
Thank you. Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
So for me, I'll be as truthful. I'm not very so, you know, Kathy's focused. She's always exercising, and so I'm like, oh my God, go Kathy, go you. You know, you know. But for me, I think that what centers me, and I'll be very truthful, what centers me is my faith. My faith centers me because I've been able to understand that whatever is going on at the moment is something that I cannot control. It's not certain, but I know that God, the God that I serve, is certain. That's number one. Number two, you know, you said something about, oh, people are going through divorce, people are fighting, and there are a lot of things happening. Now, you have to understand that when you are in any space with anyone for a long time, you're going to know so many different sides of things that maybe you didn't even know. So I think that what people need to do at this time is seek some time out. You know, the way Kathy has said, exercise, meditate. When you are meditating, right, or when you are in a quiet time, you are by yourself. You're not with anybody else. So that is your own me time. Take some time. Get some time away from the children. Get some white. Take it, even if you have to stand outside, if you have to go to a corner to just sit down and take some few hours to yourself, even if it's 30 minutes, if it's a nap that you can take at a certain time. Watch movies if that's what it takes. Listen to music. For me, what I do is I watch a lot of movies. If you know me, as you all know, I'm very, very energetic. This, for me, being at home for 3 to 4 weeks, not having to do anything is really frustrating for me. But I've decided to myself to say, you know what, it's better I'm alive than I'm dead, right? So as I'm here, what can I do to help myself? So there are times I bond with the children. There are times I say, you know what, children, go to your room. There are times I've had to put structure. There are times I'm like, I tell my husband, hello, can you go? Or like I go downstairs, I just go away, like you stay there, I stay here. And when it's time for us to come together, we come together. So I just think that a lot of people that are saying that divorces are happening now, or people, divorces, is because I think that also the divorce was probably going to happen before. So I don't know that it's because of what is happening now. So it's just for us to be able to maintain good relationships as well with people. Call your friends, call people, stay in touch. Don't be an island. If you're someone that knows how to reach out to your friends, reach out to them. If you're dealing with something, and for anybody here, if you're dealing with anything, you know that you feel that you're drowning, you feel that you can't take it anymore, speak to someone. Speak to someone. Look, it happened to me some few days ago. I called someone and said, I am just tired. Like, I'm tired. When my friend said, Funke, what kind of tired? I said, I'm just tired, Joe. I'm hot. Leave me alone. And she was like, get out. But I had a friend I could call. So it's very important that we try and maintain our relationships, reach out to our friends, reach out to our colleagues that we can, just reach out to people. Also, Kathy said something. She said, learn. Use the opportunity to just learn. Use the opportunity to be. If you think that the learning is getting too much for you and everything is getting too much, just be. Just be. Just go by yourself for some time and do what you can. My husband has become the fitness guru in the house. He's been doing yoga, he's exercising, he's jogging. Every day I just grab a drink and I'm like, oh babes, okay, bye, take care of yourself. That kind of thing. So just do you as well. Read a book, read something light. Do you understand? Just be, just be. That's what is helping me.
I love that. Thank you, Funke. That's the final words from Funke, is just be. Okay, so Kevin and Anna, please give us your final comments. But just before you do, I know a few people are obviously dropping off right now because we've gone over the time. But I just want to say, before everyone goes, I just want to say thank you to our speakers. I also want to thank our sponsors as well who made this happen, which is LD Creations, Leave It With Lava, Love Weddings NG, and the Elite Vendors Network, who helped to make this whole thing happen. Please check out their pages. We just put their links into the chat, as well as all the speakers' links, so you can connect with them. And it doesn't have to end here, yeah? So this is just the beginning. So, Kevin, please speak, and then Anna, go for it.
Good. I'm going to start off on Funke's ending note. Just be, guys. It's okay to just be. And one thing that I've actually gotten into right now and didn't realize the importance of is sleeping, guys. Something just as simple as sleeping. I just feel so good now that I've got so much time to sleep and I'm so energetic. And it's something that we always take for granted while we're working. And like Anna said earlier, you know, we're always taking care of other people and we forget to take care of ourselves. And, you know, while you sleep, you rejuvenate. I don't think there's anything that's as natural and as rejuvenating as sleep. Everything else is an extra, meditation, blah, blah, blah. But sleep, guys, it's as simple as that. You know, have enough hours of sleep and you will really feel good about yourself. And also, while you're taking care of others, you know, take care of your own love. You know, how you feel about people. Communicate that with people that you love. Let them know it's okay to, you know, to be in love. It's okay to communicate that and that kind of stuff. I feel like we're always part of love stories, and then our love stories kind of, they just get, you know, brushed under the carpet. But I mean, we also have a love story, like right on it. It's great, and I mean, just be.
Just be. Thank you. And last but not least, Miss Anna Wang.
All right, try to keep this really short. A couple of things that I would probably kind of advise people to do is don't go and buy so much ice cream. Don't go and buy so much chips and comfort food, because you cannot get out of it later when you've gained all that weight. So I'll probably say the last 12 to 18 months, my husband's really pushed me to lose all the baby fat that I've gained. I gained about nearly 40 kilos from my first child, and it's taken forever to lose that. So I've lost about 15 kilos in the last 18 months, and you'll see that in my YouTube videos of how chubby I was to how I am today. I've lost a lot of weight. I've still got about 6 kilos to go to get back. But all that hard work of the gym, you know, 2 days a week where I've tried to give myself 2 mornings to go to the gym, now that it's closed, we've lost all of that. So Bailey's bought me a little trampoline, and he's very into his health and that. So he's like, you know, you got a trampoline, and you got to continue your own routine. And I said, but it's really hard because I had a trainer that pushed me. We were in classes with all the girls. Because you just got to do it. Mentally, you just got to do it yourself. So I really say to everyone, but don't build your own home gym. Have you seen a lot of those videos where they built the home gym and it's fallen on them and it's like all these crazy things happening? Just a bit of exercise. Just go on YouTube and follow a bit of dancing. You know, funk it up. Let's watch funky dance all the time. But I think really physical health, you really need to, and don't lose it by just slouching on the couch and having comfort food. And like everyone else is saying, you know, pick up the phone, make a few phone calls, message everyone. But this is also a time where you see who really loves you as well. Because we're in the wedding industry, and how many messages have you received from your friends and family to say, hey guys, I know you're suffering at this time. It's a really good time to kind of filter. So I've realized that. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to send a few messages out because they'll be thinking the same thing. I didn't receive a message from Anna to see how we are because we're the elderly of the family, or we've got grandparents, or just send a message and say, hey, auntie, how you going? I'm thinking of you. Because they're not thinking of us. We're thinking of them because they're elderly. But then this is the time to really filter who really cares about us.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We are at the end of this summit. We're at the end of this conference. As I said, this could have easily been for a whole day. You guys have got so much knowledge, so much experience, and just so much beautiful words to give to the rest of us here on this call. We really appreciate it. As I said, we would definitely be getting all of you to the UK as soon as we can for our next masterclass, and you can bring all the people from your various countries over as well. I'm gonna end it here because it's like 1 a.m. where Kevin and Mrs. FBO is. Anna's got the rest of her day ahead of her. It's 9 a.m. there, and Kathy has her evening ahead of her with her husband and children, and we're gonna let them go and enjoy that. But guys, everyone that came onto this call, we had almost 250 of you at one point. We just want to say, you know, stay positive, stay in love, try and stay as mentally healthy as you can, by reaching out to us and the speakers, you know, getting their DMs. You never know, they may respond to you. Kathy goes live she's been going live nearly every day, offering some
Every day.
Funke is live nearly every day with someone on Instagram, and Kevin and Anna, they're not necessarily live every day, but they will probably answer you if you message them directly into their inbox in their DMs on Instagram. And there's just many men. Look, there's like 250 of us here. There's so many people that can provide you with support, even if we don't respond. Yeah, so don't get attached to these guys, but just, you know, try and look through the comments, look for people's names, look for their company names, and let's just all connect with each other and keep each other in the game. And let's look forward to this massive party that we're gonna throw across the world. We don't know where it's gonna be yet, but Kathy's gonna be involved potentially, and then Mrs. FBO is gonna be involved potentially, and then Kevin's gonna be involved, and Anna's gonna be involved, and I'm gonna be involved, and we're gonna throw this massive event that we can get everyone to come to, and we're gonna keep our eyes set on that. We're gonna keep our eyes on that prize. Yeah. So
amazing. Thank you for having us, Dean.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's lovely to meet you all.
Yes, and if anybody has direct questions, they can just send it to @KathyRomero.com. I always answer as many people as possible, so don't be shy.
Yes, don't be shy, guys.
Yes, don't be shy.
If Leanne, if you can just copy and paste all the speakers' links one more time into the chat. If not, then it's on our Instagram. Been in our emails, etc. Someone just invited me to Nigeria. If you will have me, guys, if you'll forgive me for what I said and you'll still have me, I'll definitely come. Yeah. But everyone, have a great day, evening, afternoon, morning. And we're going to end it here. Thank you so much.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.